So of course you know that we do not want to memorize the unit circle. And I hope that you took the time to watch the video on why you should not memorize it and how you should learn it. When you start with 0 pi and you count off by pi units, okay, you have 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, which reduces to pi over 3, 3 pi over 6, which reduces to pi over 2, 4 pi over 6, which reduces to 2 pi over 3, 5 pi over 6, 6 pi over 6, which reduces to pi, 7 pi over 6, 8 pi over 6, which reduces to 4 pi over 3, 9 pi over 6, which reduces to 3 pi over 2, 10 pi over 6, which is 5 pi over 3, 11 pi over 6, and then of course 12 pi over 6 is 2 pi. So that's how you count off your unit circle using pi over 6. And then another way, when you get into your 45-degree angles, you would say pi over 4, 2 pi over 4 is pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4 reduces to pi, 5 pi over 4, 6 pi over 4, which reduces to 3 pi over 2, 7 pi over 4, and then of course 8 pi over 4 equals 2 pi. When you are labeling your unit circle with degrees, you start with 0 degrees, 30, count off 30 degrees, 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 210, 240, 270, 300, 330, and 360. Then you want to go back and you want to count off by 45 degrees. So 0 degrees, 45, 90, 135, 180, 225, 270, 315, and 360. Now, once you have your first quadrant or ordered pairs labeled, you can easily do your unit pairs for the entire rest of the unit circle. So anything that is over 6, okay, you're looking right here, anything over 6 is going to be square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. So 5 pi over 6, square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. And of course, this needs to be negative. 7 pi over 6, square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. And because that's in the third quadrant, they're both negative. 11 pi over 6, square root of 3 over 2, and negative 1/2. Anything over 3 is going to be 1/2 and the square root of 3 over 2. 4 pi over 3, negative 1/2, negative square root of 3 over 2. 5 pi over 3, 1/2, negative square root of 3 over 2. Your 45-degree angles are easy because they're always the square root of 2 over 2. It just depends on what quadrant it's in as to what your symbol is. And then last but not least, we have 0 pi, we have pi over 2. 180 is negative 1, 0, and 270 is 0 and negative 1. So there you have it. There's your unit circle all filled out.